50 years ago, Commander Frank Davis was having the worst day of his career. His ship, the Explorer, was supposed to be on a routine mission to check mining equipment near Jupiter. Instead, his engines had failed, leaving him drifting in empty space. "Captain, we're picking up some strange readings," his science officer had reported. "There's debris about 5 kilometers ahead. It looks like pieces of ships, but the metal composition is nothing I've ever seen." Frank had made a decision that would change human history. "Take us in closer. Let's see what we're dealing with." The debris field was massive. Broken pieces of alien ships floated in the darkness, some as big as city blocks. The metal was unlike anything on Earth. It seemed to shift colors in the light, and their instruments couldn't identify what it was made of. "Sir, I'm reading energy, signatures from some of the larger pieces," the science officer said. Whatever these ships were, they had technology far beyond ours. Frank ordered his crew to collect as many samples as they could carry. When they returned to Earth, those samples went straight to Dr. Kevin Jones, the head of advanced research. Kevin was a brilliant man who understood that what they had found could either save humanity or doom it. "Frank, where exactly did you find this material?" Kevin asked, holding a piece of the strange metal. "About 40 million kilometers from Jupiter, in an area that should have been empty space," Frank replied. "Kevin, what are we looking at here?" Kevin had spent 3 days studying the debris before he called an emergency meeting. The room was filled with the most important people on Earth. Presidents, generals, scientists, and engineers all gathered to hear what he had discovered. "Ladies and gentlemen, this material is not from our solar system," Kevin began. "Based on the radioactive decay patterns, I estimate these ships were destroyed approximately 1,000 years ago. The technology is so advanced that we don't even understand how most of it works." President Carter's grandfather had been in that room. He asked the question everyone was thinking. "Dr. Jones, if there are aliens out there with this kind of technology, what does that mean for Earth?" Kevin's answer was simple and terrifying. "It means we're not alone, and we're not safe. If these aliens exist, there might be others. We need to be ready." That meeting led to the creation of the most secret project in human history. They called it Project Homecoming, and only a few hundred people knew it existed. The best scientists from every country worked together to understand the alien technology. The breakthrough came 2 years later. Engineer Carlos Rivera was working with a piece of alien computer equipment when something incredible happened. The machine started responding to his thoughts. "Dr. Jones, you need to see this," Carlos called out from his lab. "I was just thinking about turning the device on, and it activated by itself." Kevin rushed to the lab and watched in amazement as Carlos made the alien device perform complex calculations just by thinking about what he wanted it to do. They had discovered something that would change everything. Human brains could directly control alien technology. "Carlos, try something more complex," Kevin suggested. "See if you can make it run multiple processes at the same time." Carlos focused his mind on the device. Suddenly, dozens of displays lit up, each one running different programs. His brain was controlling all of them at once, something that should have been impossible. "Kevin, I can feel every process running. It's like the machine is part of my mind." More tests followed. They discovered that while other animals couldn't interface with the alien technology at all, humans could control it better than even the original builders. Human neural patterns were perfectly matched to the quantum-based systems. Dr. Susan Blake joined the project 5 years later when Kevin retired. She was younger and more aggressive in her research. Under her leadership, they began to build new devices based on the alien designs. "We're not just copying their technology," Susan explained to the project team. "We're improving it. Human minds can process quantum information in ways the original builders never imagined." The first test pilot was Captain Danny Foster, a young officer with exceptional reflexes. They had built a small fighter based on alien designs, but enhanced for human neural control. When Danny climbed into the cockpit and activated the interface, something amazing happened. "Control, this is incredible!" Danny's voice came through the radio. "I'm not flying this ship. I am this ship. I can feel every system, every sensor. It's like having a new body." Danny's test flight broke every speed record humans had ever set. He could turn sharper, accelerate faster, and react quicker than any pilot in history. The quantum interface allowed his human reflexes to control the ship at the speed of thought. "Susan, the response time is measured in microseconds," Danny reported after landing. "I could dodge weapons fire that would be impossible to avoid in a normal ship." But the real discovery came when they tested multiple ship control. They put Danny in a simulator connected to 10 different ships. Most alien species needed one pilot per ship, but Danny could control all 10 at the same time. "It's not difficult at all," Danny explained. "My brain just splits the tasks between different quantum processors. Each ship feels like a different limb on my body." The implications were staggering. While alien fleets needed thousands of crew members, humans could operate entire battle groups with just a few pilots. They had found humanity's advantage. Their minds worked better with alien technology than the aliens themselves. Over the next 20 years, they built hidden bases throughout the solar system. The moon base looked like a simple research station, but underneath the surface were weapons powerful enough to destroy entire fleets. Mars base appeared to be a mining operation, but it actually housed hundreds of quantum fighters. The most secret bases were in the asteroid belt. Entire fleets of stealth ships were hidden in hollow asteroids, crewed by pilots who had trained their whole lives for a war that might never come. "We have to assume they're coming someday," Susan told her team. "The debris field Frank found proves that space battles happen. We need to be ready." They also discovered something else about the alien technology. It was incredibly old. The quantum computers contained data fragments that told the story of a great war fought across the galaxy thousands of years ago. The original builders called themselves the Guardians, Susan explained to Admiral Collins during one of their secret briefings. They fought against something they called the Devourers, species that consumed entire worlds. The Guardians won, but the cost was their extinction. The data fragments revealed that the Guardians had designed their technology specifically for a species with human-like neural patterns. They had been looking for inheritors, people who could carry on their mission of protecting the galaxy. "Admiral, I don't think we found this technology by accident," Susan said. "I think the Guardians left it for us to find. They knew that someday humanity would need it." As the years passed, more evidence supported Susan's theory. Archaeological sites on Earth contained traces of the same quantum materials. Ancient human legends spoke of visitors from the stars who left gifts for future generations. "We're not just defending Earth," Susan realized. "We're continuing a war that started before human civilization existed. The Guardians chose us as their replacements." The training programs grew more sophisticated every year. Pilots learned to control multiple ships, gunners trained to operate weapons that could punch holes through planets, and engineers mastered technology that seemed like magic. Captain Lisa Morgan had been one of those pilots. She spent 5 years in the secret training program, learning to fly ships that officially didn't exist. When she was assigned to command the New Horizon, it looked like a simple exploration vessel. In reality, it was one of the most advanced ships ever built. "Lisa, your ship looks ordinary, but it has quantum engines and neural interface controls," Susan had briefed her. "If we ever need you to fight, you'll have capabilities that no enemy will expect." Now, as alien ships approached Earth, 50 years of preparation were about to be tested. The secret bases were powering up. The hidden weapons were coming online. The specially trained crews were taking their positions. The aliens thought they were attacking a primitive world. They had no idea that humanity had been waiting for them, armed with technology that their own ancestors had created. The Guardians had chosen their inheritors well. Earth was ready for war. Admiral Jack Collins stood in the control room of Aurora Station, watching the stars through the large window. The orbital defense platform moved slowly around Earth, keeping watch over the planet below. Jack had been doing this job for 12 years now. Most days were quiet. Today would be different. The alarm started ringing at exactly 0800 hours. Lieutenant Sam Peters ran to Jack's side with a data pad in his hands. His face was white with shock. "Sir, we have a problem," Sam said. "A big problem." Jack took the pad and looked at the readings. The numbers made no sense at first. Then his blood went cold. 800 ships had just appeared at the edge of their solar system. The ships were huge, much larger than anything humans had ever built. "Get me Captain Lisa Morgan on the New Horizon," Jack ordered. "She's the closest to those coordinates." The communication screen lit up a few seconds later. Lisa's face appeared, but she looked scared. Behind her, Jack could see her crew running around the bridge of their exploration ship. "Jack, are you seeing this?" Lisa asked. "These things just showed up out of nowhere. They're arranged in perfect battle formation." Jack nodded. "What's your distance from the unknown fleet?" "About 2 million kilometers in closing," Lisa replied. "Jack, I've never seen ships this big. Each one must be at least 5 times the size of our largest cruiser." The communication system crackled with a new signal. This one wasn't human. The voice that came through the speakers was deep and strange. It spoke in broken English. "Humans of Earth," the alien voice said. "We are the Zephyrian Confederation. Your world belongs to us now. Surrender your planet. Fight us, and we will destroy you all." Jack felt his heart beating fast, but his voice stayed calm. "Lisa, get back to Earth immediately. Full speed." "Already on my way," Lisa said. "Estimated arrival time is 55 minutes. Jack turned to Sam. "Send an emergency signal to President Helen Carter. Tell her we need Protocol 7 activated right now." Sam's fingers moved quickly over his controls. Within minutes, the president's face appeared on the main screen. Helen Carter had been president for 3 years. She was known for staying calm during problems, but today her eyes showed real fear. "Admiral Collins, what's our situation?" The president asked. 800 alien warships, Madam President. They want us to surrender Earth. We have less than 1 hour before they reach our outer defenses." The president was quiet for a moment. "Are you sure about Protocol 7? Jack nodded. "It's time, ma'am. After 50 years of waiting, it's finally time." The screen split to show 2 more faces. General Paul Wright appeared on the left side. He was the head of Earth's Unified Defense Command, a big man with gray hair and cold eyes. On the right side was Dr. Susan Blake, a woman in her 60s who ran the Advanced Weapons Research Division. "Paul, what do our regular forces look like?" the president asked. General Wright's expression was grim. "We have 47 ships in the defense fleet. Most of them are patrol boats and light cruisers. Against 800 alien warships, we'd last maybe 10 minutes. "Susan, is the special equipment ready?" the president asked. Dr. Blake smiled for the first time since the call started. "We've been ready for 20 years, Madam President. Every system has been tested. Every pilot has been trained. We're good to go." Jack felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. For most of his life, he had carried a secret. Earth wasn't as helpless as it looked. The secret went back 50 years, to a discovery that changed everything. Only a few hundred people knew the truth. "Madam President, recommend we activate all hidden installations," Jack said. "The aliens think we're primitive. Let's keep it that way until the last possible moment." The president nodded. "Dr. Blake, begin Protocol 7 activation. General Wright, have all regular forces take defensive positions, but don't reveal our special assets until Admiral Collins gives the word." "Yes, ma'am," both officers replied. Jack looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, an alien fleet was coming to destroy his world. They thought humans were weak. They thought Earth would be easy to conquer. They had no idea what they were flying into. Captain Lisa Morgan's voice came through the speakers again. "Admiral, I'm getting more detailed scans of the alien fleet. These ships are using energy shields and weapons we've never seen before. Their technology is definitely more advanced than our public systems. Understood, Captain. Just get back here safely. Jack walked over to a special control panel that most people on the station had never seen used. He placed his hand on a scanner. A green light flashed, and a hidden screen came to life. Aurora Station to all Protocol 7 facilities, Jack said into his headset. This is Admiral Collins. Authorization code Charlie 77 Alpha. Begin activation sequence. All across the solar system, things began to change. On the moon, Colonel Betty Kane received Jack's message in her underground command center. She had been waiting for this day for 15 years. All right, people, Betty said to her crew. Power up the main guns. Today we find out if all our training was worth it. The lunar surface began to shift in dozens of places. What looked like small research stations started to rise from hidden underground positions. Massive weapon barrels emerged from beneath the moon's surface. Each gun was bigger than most Earth buildings. On Mars, Commander Pete Shaw got the same message. His base looked like a simple mining operation, but it was actually something much more dangerous. Hidden in the Red Planet's underground caves were 500 small ships, each one packed with technology that could change the course of any battle. Pilots to your ships, Pete announced over the base communications. Operation Homecoming is now active. In Earth's asteroid belt, dozens of hidden bases received Jack's signal. Captain Roy Bell had been living in the asteroids for 8 years, commanding a fleet of stealth ships that officially didn't exist. His crews were some of the best pilots humanity had ever produced. Ghost Squadron, this is not a drill, Roy transmitted to his ships. Enemy fleet incoming. Time to show them what humans can really do. Back on Aurora Station, Jack watched as his screens filled with confirmation signals. Every hidden base was coming online. Every secret weapon was powering up. Every specially trained crew was taking their positions. Dr. Susan Blake appeared on his communication screen again. Admiral, all quantum systems are active. Neural interface pilots are reporting ready status across all platforms. Jack smiled. The words meant nothing to most people, but they meant everything to him. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing for this moment. The aliens thought they were attacking a primitive world. Instead, they were about to face the most advanced military force in the galaxy. Dr. Blake, how long until the enemy fleet reaches our outer perimeter? 37 minutes, Admiral. Jack looked at the tactical display. The alien ships were moving fast, but not as fast as they could. They were confident. They expected an easy victory. All stations, this is Admiral Collins, Jack announced. Remember your training. Remember why we've been preparing. Today, we defend our home. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity will not go quietly into the night. The responses came back from across the solar system. Hundreds of voices, all ready to fight. All ready to protect Earth. The aliens were coming, expecting to find a weak and helpless world. Instead, they were about to discover that humanity had been waiting for them. The Zephyrian fleet commander, war leader Thek, studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The human world lay ahead, defended by a pathetic collection of small ships. His intelligence reports had been correct. This species was barely capable of interplanetary travel. Communications officer, send the final ultimatum, Thek ordered from his command throne. Tell the humans they have 5 minutes to surrender before we begin planetary bombardment. The response came back in broken universal standard. We will not surrender our world. Come and take it if you can. Thek's 4 eyes glowed with amusement. The humans actually thought they could resist. This would be over quickly. All ships, attack formation, destroy their defense fleet first, then commence planetary bombardment. This will serve as an example to other primitive species. 800 Zephyrian warships moved forward in perfect formation. Each ship was over 2 kilometers long, armed with plasma cannons and protected by energy shields, against 47 human vessels. The outcome was certain. Admiral Jack Collins watched the alien fleet approach on his tactical display. The enemy ships were massive and powerful, but they were also predictable. They moved in standard attack formations, just like the war games had predicted they would. "All regular forces, take defensive positions around Earth," Jack commanded. "Make it look like we're scared. Don't reveal our special assets until I give the word." Captain Lisa Morgan had made it back to Earth just in time. Her ship, the New Horizon, took position with the other human vessels. To any observer, they looked outmatched and terrified. "Lisa, remember your training," Jack said over a private channel. "When the time comes, show them what a human pilot can really do." "Ready and waiting, Admiral," Lisa replied. Her hands moved over controls that the aliens couldn't even see. Hidden beneath the New Horizon's ordinary appearance were quantum engines and weapons that could change the course of any battle. The first exchange began when the aliens opened fire at extreme range. Bright beams of plasma energy streaked across space toward the human ships. Most of the shots missed, but a few hit their targets. 2 human patrol boats exploded in balls of flame. "Human fleet is taking casualties," reported War Leader Thek's tactical officer. "Their ships are poorly armored. This will be easier than expected." But something was wrong. The human ships were moving in ways that didn't make sense. They dodged some attacks that should have been impossible to avoid while taking hits from shots they could have easily evaded. "They're trying to make us think they're lucky," Thek realized. "Clever, but pointless. Continue the attack." 4 minutes into the battle, the first surprise came. Captain Lisa Morgan's New Horizon suddenly accelerated to impossible speeds, weaving between alien ships like a needle through cloth. Her quantum-enhanced reflexes allowed her to pilot through weapons fire that should have destroyed her instantly. "What was that?" Thek's pilot demanded. "No ship can move like that." Lisa's ship spun and twisted through the alien formation, her neural interface processing battlefield information faster than any computer. She could see every enemy ship, track every weapon, and calculate escape routes in microseconds. "Admiral, I'm painting targets for the lunar batteries," Lisa reported calmly, even as plasma bolts flew past her ship. On the moon, Colonel Betty Kane smiled as targeting information flowed into her command center. Her gunners had trained for 20 years, for this moment. The hidden weapons platforms rose from beneath the lunar surface like ancient monuments awakening. "All batteries, you have your targets," Betty announced. "Fire at will." The moon erupted with light as dozens of quantum artillery pieces opened fire. Each shot was guided by human neural interfaces, finding its target with terrifying precision. The energy beams punched through alien shields like they were made of paper. "Impossible!" Thek roared as 3 of his largest ships exploded. Those weapons came from their moon. How did we miss installations that size? The answer was simple. The humans had built their weapons underground and hidden them for 50 years. The quantum artillery pieces were more powerful than anything the Zephyrians had ever seen, powered by technology that their own species had never mastered. War Leader Thek tried to regain control of the battle. "All ships, target their moon, destroy those installations." But it was too late. The human trap was springing shut from multiple directions. From Mars, Commander Pete Shaw launched what looked like a small defensive fleet. The aliens saw only 50 tiny ships and dismissed them as insignificant. "Pete, you're clear to reveal capabilities," Admiral Collins transmitted. The 50 small ships from Mars suddenly split apart. Each one was actually a carrier containing 10 quantum fighters. In seconds, 500 advanced combat craft swarmed through the alien formation. Each fighter was controlled by a human pilot using neural interface technology. Their reflexes, enhanced by quantum computing, could process and respond to threats. Faster than alien computers, they moved like a school of deadly fish, striking and vanishing before their enemies could react. "We're being attacked by hundreds of fighters," Thek's tactical officer reported. "Sir, they're everywhere. Our point defense can't track them," The quantum fighters struck like lightning. Their weapons were small but incredibly precise, targeting weak points in alien ship designs. Engine compartments exploded, weapon systems failed, and shield generators overloaded under the focused assault. Thek watched in horror as his fleet began to fall apart. Ships that had never been defeated were being torn to pieces by human fighters that moved like they were alive. The battle that should have lasted minutes was turning into a massacre. "All ships, emergency withdrawal," Thek ordered. "We need to regroup and—" His words were cut off as more human ships appeared. These came from the asteroid belt, emerging from hiding places that had been prepared decades in advance. Captain Roy Bell's stealth fleet materialized behind the alien formation like ghosts becoming solid. "Go Squadron, weapons free," Roy transmitted. "Let's finish this." The stealth ships had been waiting in the asteroids for 8 years, crewed by some of humanity's best pilots. Their ships were armed with weapons that could phase through solid matter, striking at the alien vessel's most vital systems. Zephyrian ships began exploding all around War Leader Thek's flagship. His fleet of 800 had been reduced to fewer than 200 in just 10 minutes. The humans weren't just winning, they were dominating completely. "How is this possible?" Thek demanded. "Our intelligence report said they were primitive." The answer came in the form of Commander Lucy Green's assault on Thek's flagship. Her ship, the Phantom, used quantum tunneling technology to phase through the alien vessel's shields and armor. She materialized inside their engine room and fired a single shot that crippled the massive warship. "This is Commander Green to all. Human forces," Lucy announced. "Enemy flagship is disabled. Repeat, primary target is down." Thek's ship tumbled helplessly through space, its engines dead and weapons offline. Around him, the remnants of his fleet were being systematically destroyed by human forces that had appeared from nowhere. Admiral Jack Collins opened a communication channel to all surviving alien ships. His voice was calm and professional, but there was steel underneath. "Attention Zephyrian forces. This is Admiral Collins of Earth Defense Command. You came here expecting to find a weak and helpless world. Instead, you found a civilization that has been preparing for this day for 50 years. Your fleet is beaten. Your ships are destroyed. Your commander is captured. I offer you one chance to surrender and learn why we were ready for you." Some of the alien ships tried to flee. Captain Andy Price's long-range interceptors were waiting for them. His ships used quantum drives to catch up with the fleeing vessels, disabling them before they could escape the solar system. In 14 minutes, the battle was over. The Zephyrian Confederation, a power that had dominated space for thousands of years, had lost 90% of their fleet to a species they thought was primitive. War Leader Thek sat in his damaged command center, staring at the tactical display, in disbelief. His 800 ships had been reduced to fewer than 50 survivors, all of them damaged or disabled. "Sir, the humans are requesting our surrender," his communications officer reported quietly. Thek looked at the display showing Earth, the small blue world that had just destroyed his entire fleet. The humans weren't primitive at all. They had technology that surpassed even the most advanced civilizations in known space. "Signal our surrender," Thek said finally, "and send a message to the Confederation High Command. Tell them we found something incredible out here. Tell them humanity is not what we expected." The battle was over, but the war for the galaxy was just beginning. 3 days after the battle, the galaxy was in chaos. The news spread faster than anyone had expected. The mighty Zephyrian Confederation, rulers of 12 star systems and conquerors of dozens of worlds, had been crushed by a species most civilizations had never heard of. Ambassador Mary Clark stood on the bridge of the diplomatic ship Peacekeeper, watching the Zephyrian capital world grow larger on the main screen. She had been chosen for this mission because of her skill with languages and her calm personality. Today, she would represent humanity to an entire galactic civilization. "Ambassador, we're receiving multiple communication requests," reported Lieutenant Bill Mason from his position at the communications station. "Every major power in this region wants to talk to us." Mary nodded. Put them on hold for now, Bill. Our first meeting is with the Confederation leadership. Let's see what they have to say. The Peacekeeper was a marvel of Guardian technology, designed specifically for diplomatic missions. It looked peaceful and non-threatening, but hidden beneath its smooth hull were defensive systems that could protect it from any attack. Mary felt safe, but she also understood the enormous responsibility she carried. Captain Tom Harris commanded the escort fleet that accompanied Mary's ship. 12 human vessels flew in formation around the Peacekeeper, each one a demonstration of humanity's new power. The ships were beautiful and deadly, their quantum drives leaving trails of light across the darkness of space. Mary, we're getting sensor readings from the Zephyrian fleet, Tom reported over the communication system. They have about 300 ships surrounding their homeworld, but they're keeping their distance. I think our reputation preceded us. Mary smiled. Good. Fear will keep them honest during the negotiations. The Zephyrian capital world was called Thakara, named after an ancient war leader. It was a harsh planet with red skies and purple oceans, home to over 8 billion Zephyrians. Their cities were built like fortresses, designed to withstand attack from space. Incoming transmission from the planetary surface, Bill announced. It's Chancellor Vexen himself. The main screen lit up with the image of the Zephyrian leader. Chancellor Vexen was old for his species, with silver markings on his forearms and wise eyes that had seen many wars. He looked tired and worried. Humans of Earth, Vexen said in careful universal standard. I am Chancellor Vexen of the Zephyrian Confederation. I invite you to meet with our High Council to discuss the recent unfortunate events. Mary stepped forward so the Chancellor could see her clearly. Chancellor Vexen, I am Ambassador Mary Clark, representing the United Earth Government. We accept your invitation and look forward to productive discussions. 2 hours later, Mary found herself in the most impressive building she had ever seen. The Confederation Council chamber was enormous, built from black stone and decorated with the banners of conquered worlds. Representatives from dozens of species sat in tiered galleries, all of them watching the humans with curious eyes. Chancellor Vexen led Mary to a special platform in the center of the chamber. War Leader Thek stood beside him, still wearing the restraints from his capture but treated with the respect due to a defeated commander. Ambassador Clark, Vexen began, War Leader Thek has told us remarkable things about your species. He claims that humans possess Guardian technology and that you destroyed our fleet in mere minutes. I confess, these claims are difficult to believe. Mary activated a small device she carried, projecting holographic images above the platform. The assembled representatives gasped as they saw recordings from the battle, human ships moving with impossible grace, and weapons that ignored conventional physics. Chancellor, everything War Leader Thek told you is true, Mary said. Humanity inherited Guardian technology 50 years ago. We've been preparing for this day ever since. The chamber erupted in excited chatter. Species throughout the galaxy knew the legends of the Guardians, but most believed they were just myths. To learn that their technology still existed and was now in human hands was shocking news. If you possess such power, Vexen asked, why have you remained hidden? Why didn't you reveal yourselves years ago? Because we weren't ready, Mary replied. Guardian technology is incredible, but it's also dangerous. We needed time to learn how to use it responsibly. We needed to decide what kind of civilization we wanted to become. She gestured to the holographic display, which now showed images of human exploration fleets making peaceful contact with alien species across the galaxy. We chose to become protectors instead of conquerors, Mary continued. The Guardians left us a mission to defend peaceful species from aggressive civilizations. That mission brought us here today. Chancellor Vexen looked uncomfortable. Ambassador, the Confederation has ruled this region of space for over 2,000 years. Our authority is not something we can simply abandon. We're not asking you to abandon your authority, Mary said. We're asking you to use it differently. Stop conquering new worlds. Free the species you've enslaved. Work with your neighbors instead of dominating them." The chamber fell silent. Every representative understood the implications of Mary's words. The humans weren't just making suggestions. They were giving ultimatums backed by overwhelming military power. War Leader Thek stepped forward. "Chancellor, I have seen what these humans can do. Their fleet could destroy every ship we possess. Their weapons could crack planets. But instead of conquest, they offer partnership." Mary nodded toward Thek. "The war leader speaks truly. We could conquer the Confederation if we wanted to, but conquest creates enemies, not allies. We prefer to work with civilizations that share our values." She activated her device again, this time showing images of human colonies and research, stations throughout human space. Dozens of alien species worked alongside humans, sharing knowledge and resources in peaceful cooperation. "This is what we're building," Mary explained. "A galactic community where species help each other instead of preying on each other. The Confederation could be part of this community, but first you must prove that you're committed to peace." Chancellor. Vexen consulted quietly with his advisors before responding. "What exactly are you proposing, Ambassador?" "3 things," Mary said, counting on her fingers. "First, immediate independence for all species that were conquered by the Confederation. Second, reparations to worlds that were damaged during your expansion. Third, participation in a new galactic defense alliance that protects peaceful species from aggressive ones." The terms were generous considering that humanity could have simply demanded unconditional surrender. But they were also non-negotiable, and everyone in the chamber knew it. "And in return?" Vexen asked. "Shared technology, trade agreements, and mutual defense pacts," Mary replied. "The Guardian knowledge includes advances in medicine, engineering, and environmental science. Species that join our alliance benefit from discoveries that could solve most galactic problems." Dr. Susan Blake appeared on the holographic display, speaking from her laboratory on Earth. "Chancellor, we've already cured diseases that have plagued spacefaring species for millennia. We've developed terraforming techniques that can restore dead worlds to life. This knowledge belongs to everyone, not just humans." The representatives in the galleries began talking excitedly among themselves. The offer was incredible. Access to Guardian technology in exchange for peaceful behavior. For civilizations that had struggled with resource scarcity and technological limitations, it was almost too good to believe. "Ambassador Clark," came a voice from one of the galleries. Mary looked up to see a small reptilian creature wearing simple robes. "I am Speaker Zess of the Vakari people. My world was conquered by the Confederation 50 years ago. Are you saying we would be free?" "More than free," Mary replied. "Independent, protected, and welcome to join our alliance as equals. No species should be forced to serve another." Chancellor Vexen looked around the chamber, seeing hope in the eyes of representatives from conquered worlds. He understood that his government faced an impossible choice: accept the human terms or face destruction. Ambassador, assuming the high. "Council agrees to your terms. How would this transition work?" Vexen asked. War Leader Thek had commanded fleets for 30 years. He had conquered 12 worlds and never lost a single battle. Now he sat in a human detention facility, trying to understand how everything had gone so wrong. The human interrogator was a small woman named Agent Kate Murphy. She wore a simple uniform and spoke quietly, but Thek could see the intelligence in her eyes. She knew exactly what questions to ask. "War Leader, your species has been watching us for decades," Kate said, placing a data pad on the table between them. "Your scout reports describe humans as primitive and weak. What made you so confident?" Thek's forearms moved restlessly in his restraints. "Your technology was limited. No faster-than-light travel, no energy shields, simple kinetic weapons. Any civilized species could have conquered you easily." Kate smiled. "That's what we wanted you to think. Tell me, War Leader. Have you ever heard of the Guardians? The color drained from Thek's face. Every spacefaring species knew the legends of the Guardians, the mysterious race that had once protected the galaxy from great evil. The Guardians are myths, Thek said, but his voice shook with uncertainty. They disappeared thousands of years ago. They didn't disappear, Kate replied. They evolved. They became something new. They became us. She activated the datapad, showing Thek images of the battle. Human ships moving with impossible grace, weapons that ignored conventional physics, pilots reacting faster than any computer. This technology isn't human-built, Kate explained. We found it 50 years ago, floating in space near Jupiter. Remnants of a Guardian fleet, destroyed in some ancient battle. But here's the interesting part. The technology only responds to human neural patterns. Thek watched the battle recordings with growing horror. The human ships weren't just fast. They were thinking. Each pilot controlled their vessel like it was part of their own body. Your species uses biological computers, Kate continued. Most aliens do. But human brains work differently. We can interface directly with quantum-based systems. The Guardian technology was designed for minds like ours. Dr. Susan Blake entered the interrogation room, carrying a small device that glowed with soft blue light. Thek recognized it immediately as Guardian technology, though he had never seen it working before. War Leader, this is a Guardian quantum processor, Susan said, setting the device on the table. For most species, it's just an interesting artifact. Watch what happens when a human touches it. Susan placed her hand on the device. Instantly, it came alive with brilliant light. Holographic displays appeared in the air, showing star maps, weapon schematics, and battle plans. The technology responded to Susan's thoughts as if it were reading her mind. Impossible, Thek whispered. No one has been able to activate Guardian technology in living memory. Because no one else has the right kind of brain, Susan replied. The Guardians designed their systems for a species that thinks like humans do. They were preparing for the day when their inheritors would need these tools. Kate pulled up more files on her datapad. Your species isn't the first to attack Earth, War Leader. We've been monitoring hostile fleets for 20 years. Every time someone got too aggressive, we sent them a warning. Most were smart enough to listen. She showed Thek records of other alien fleets that had approached human space. Each one had received a demonstration of human capabilities and chosen to withdraw. The Zephyrian Confederation had been too proud to accept warnings. You could have avoided this entire war, Kate said. We tried to make contact through diplomatic channels. Your government refused to meet with primitive humans. You forced us to respond with military action. Admiral Jack Collins joined them in the interrogation room. Thek recognized him as the human commander who had destroyed his fleet. The admiral looked tired but determined. War Leader, I want you to understand something, Jack said, sitting across from Thek. We didn't want this fight. Humans prefer peace to war. But we will not allow our world to be threatened. Thek looked at the three humans surrounding him. They seemed so small and fragile compared to his own species, but they had just demonstrated power beyond anything he had imagined. What do you want from me? Thek asked. Information, Jack replied. Your confederation rules dozens of worlds. Some of those worlds joined you willingly, but others were conquered. We want to know which species are your slaves and which are your allies. Susan activated her quantum device again, projecting a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked Zephyrian territory, while blue dots showed human exploration routes. The Guardians left instructions, Susan explained. Their final mission was to protect peaceful species from aggressive civilizations. That mission now belongs to us. Kate leaned forward. War Leader, your confederation has a choice. You can work with us to create a more peaceful galaxy, or you can be replaced by someone who will. The implications hit Thek like a physical blow. The humans weren't just defending themselves. They were claiming the Guardians' role as galactic protectors. With their advanced technology and superior tactics, they could probably enforce that claim. "My government will never surrender to humans," Thek said weakly. "They won't have to," Jack replied. "We're not interested in ruling the Zephyrian Confederation. We want you to rule yourselves, but peacefully. No more conquering innocent worlds, no more enslaving weaker species." Dr. Susan Blake stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Thek could see human ships moving through space with graceful efficiency. Each vessel was a masterpiece of Guardian technology, operated by human minds that understood it better than its original creators. "War Leader, would you like to see our real fleet?" Susan asked. The window's display changed, showing images from across the solar system. Hidden bases on dozens of asteroids, massive shipyards in the outer planets, and fleets of vessels that dwarfed anything the Zephyrians had built. "This is just our home defense force," Susan explained. "We have exploration fleets visiting every part of the galaxy. We know about the slave worlds, the conquered species, the genocidal wars. We've been preparing to do something about it." Thek realized that he was looking at the birth of a new galactic power. The humans had Guardian technology, superior tactics, and the moral conviction to use their strength for protection rather than conquest. "What happens to my crews?" Thek asked. "The warriors who survived your attack?" "They go home," Jack said simply. "We'll repair their ships and give them safe passage back to Zephyrian space. They can tell your government what they learned here." Kate activated her datapad again. "But first, they're going to see something that will change how they think about the galaxy." The display showed recordings from human exploration ships, peaceful first contacts with dozens of species, trade agreements that benefited everyone involved, and defense pacts that protected weak worlds from stronger predators. "This is what the Guardians wanted," Kate explained. "Not an empire built on conquest, but a community built on cooperation, species working together instead of preying on each other." Thek watched the recordings with growing amazement. He saw human ships defending alien worlds from attackers, human engineers helping, primitive species develop their technology, and human diplomats mediating disputes between warring civilizations. "Your species could be part of this," Jack said. "The Zephyrian Confederation has knowledge and resources that could benefit everyone. But you have to stop treating other species as property." Dr. Susan Blake returned to the table, her quantum device still glowing softly. "War Leader, the Guardian technology isn't just weapons and ships. It's also medical equipment, environmental systems, and communication networks. We can share it with species that prove they're committed to peace." The offer was staggering. Guardian technology could solve most of the problems that plagued galactic civilization. Disease, resource scarcity, communication barriers, all of it could be addressed with tools the humans had inherited. "And if my government refuses?" Thek asked. "Then you'll discover that the galaxy has new protectors," Jack replied. "The age of conquest is ending, War Leader. The age of cooperation is beginning." Thek looked at each human in turn. They were offering his species a choice between partnership and irrelevance. With Guardian technology and human determination, they had the power to enforce their vision of a peaceful galaxy. "I will carry your message to the Confederation High Command," Thek said finally, "but I cannot guarantee they will listen." Kate stood up and gathered her datapads. "War Leader, after today, everyone will listen. Your fleet was destroyed in 14 minutes by a species you thought was primitive. That news will spread across the galaxy faster than any message." As the humans prepared to leave, Thek called out one final question. "Why are you doing this? Why risk everything to protect species you've never met?" Jack paused at the doorway. "Because that's what the Guardians would have wanted, and because someone has to stand up for those who can't defend themselves." The door closed, leaving Thek alone with his thoughts. Outside, human ships prepared for their next mission, the liberation of a galaxy that had lived under the rule of predators for too long. "Gradually and peacefully," Mary said. We're not interested in creating chaos. Worlds that want independence would receive it over a period of months, with support to help them establish stable governments. The Confederation would remain intact, but as a voluntary alliance instead of an empire. The negotiations continued for 6 hours. Representatives from dozens of species asked questions, voiced concerns, and debated the implications of the human proposal. In the end, the vote was overwhelming. 847 representatives in favor of the alliance, 23 opposed. Chancellor Vexen looked old and tired as he announced the results. The Zephyrian Confederation formally accepts the human terms. We will begin the transition to a voluntary alliance immediately. Mary felt a surge of relief and satisfaction. The first major step toward galactic peace had been successful. But she knew this was only the beginning. "Chancellor, there's one more thing," Mary said as the session ended. "Other civilizations have been watching these proceedings. Word is spreading that the galaxy has new protectors. We expect many requests for alliance membership in the coming months." That evening, Mary stood on the observation deck of the Peacekeeper, watching Zephyrian ships begin the process of withdrawing from Khan.